Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to the Monday, September 4, Days of Our Lives spoilers, Harris Michaels had good news for Ava Vitali because Marlena Evans had agreed to assist her. But Ava stated she had changed her mind and pretended that perhaps her Susan Banks visions had stopped. A few seconds later, Susan appeared to remind Ava that she needed to be completely honest about the collision. Ava couldn't handle this alone, so Harris persuaded her to let him phone Marlena. On Monday's episode of Days, Marlena provided updates on John Doe, the unidentified patient with memory problems, to John Black and Steve Johnson at the bar. Steve and John decided to investigate the man's identity as well as his long-lost son. Following confirmation from the local veterans hospital that a man matching John Doe's description had lately gone missing, John and Steve made their way there. Marlena traveled to Bayview in the meantime and hypnotized Ava there. Harris was disappointed that it was a bust because Ava told Marlena that she couldn't recall anything new regarding the crash. When Ava and Harris were alone, Ava confessed to lying to Marlena since she now remembered what had happened and told Harris Susan was still alive. Julie Williams was completing paperwork at Salem University Hospital when John Doe arrived. Doug Williams was having his stubbed toe checked out for precautionary reasons. Julie learned that Mr. Doe was trying to locate his long-lost son, who he believed to be nearby but couldn't remember who he was. John Doe thought the tale Julie was telling about Uncle Tommy and his service in Korea seemed familiar, and he questioned whether he might be Uncle Tommy. Uncle Tommy had already passed away, according to Julie, so John Doe couldn't be him. When Mr. Doe ultimately ran into Doug, the two of them began singing and dancing with Julie. When John Doe could imagine his wife's face at one point, he also realized that he was married. Mr. Dugan spoke with Steve and John at the VA facility on John Doe, who was thought to be Joseph Bell based on his dog tags from the Korean War. When John and Steve combed through Joseph's military records, they made the startling finding that Joseph had served in the same army unit as his father, Timothy Robichaud, better known by his stage name Yo Ling. Steve came to the conclusion that John's biological father must have known Joseph as a result of this. Each believed Susan had returned to him at the Demura estate on Monday's episode of DOL. But Susan acted as though he didn't seem to miss her if he was dozing off on the sofa. It wasn't long before EJ took an audacious action after he awoke frightened on the couch and appeared reflective about the nightmare. Opened the door to EJ at Xander Cook's apartment and was startled to see the tenacious Demura draw a gun on him. Finally, EJ attempted to pass it to Xander and stated that he wanted Xander to kill Ava. Xander blamed Ava for Susan's demise, despite his sorrow over his part in it. In spite of this, Xander refused to comply with EJ's request since he didn't want to have anything further on his mind. Even though EJ offered to pay Xander handsomely and typed a sum with several zeros, Xander continued to be uninterested. In reality, Xander reasoned that EJ was likely only doing this to get back with him by imprisoning him. Before leaving Xander's apartment, EJ made it plain that both Xander and Ava would make payment. EJ then phoned someone else and gave them a task to do, ordering a hit on Ava Vitali in Monday's Days episode. Brady Black was perplexed by Theresa Donovan's appearance at the townhouse, but she asserted that she had come to honor Victor Kiriakis. Theresa didn't bring Tate Black, the character last portrayed by Colin and Kyle Schroeder, because he had class. There was a flashback to the tender moment as Theresa mentioned achieving a breakthrough with Victor before she left to defeat El Fidio. Victor asserted that his grandfather simply wanted him to be with anyone other than Eve Donovan, despite Theresa feeling that he was cheering for her relationship with Brady. Although Theresa chuckled at how much Victor detested her sister, she was intent on rekindling her passion with Brady. Theresa claimed that Xander was the reason she wasn't with Brady right now after accusing him of abandoning Chloe in Mexico. Brady emphasized how toxic they might be to one another at times, but Theresa believed that the positive outweighed the negative. Brady accepted Theresa's kiss, and Brady momentarily returned it before pulling away and said that this was a poor idea. Brady refused to agree to their reunion, despite Theresa's attempts to get him to remember brighter times and to recall their fake wedding in their bedroom. Brady flashed back to saying their vows to one another in that private bedroom marriage ceremony after Theresa left on Monday's episode of Days. Theresa sobbed on a bench outside the bar as she considered Brady's response to her reunion quest. Theresa's name was yelled out when Xander showed in, and he appeared shocked to see her. According to Days of Our Lives spoilers on Tuesday, September 5, EJ Dinmura will carry out his plan to get rid of Ava Vitali. EJ called a different person with updates on the task he needed them to complete because Xander Cook refused to take Ava out. EJ will state that he is certain of this and that he is looking forward to hearing of Ava's passing, but there will be obstacles that arise that prevent him from carrying out his instructions. Theresa Donovan and Xander will spar in the meantime after he discovered her sitting on a seat outside the bar. Theresa and Xander's tumultuous past will resurface as they exchange barbs, as Duolo fans are aware. Days teasers indicate that Xander will start to abuse Theresa, but Eric Brady will step in to protect her and tell Xander to leave. They will engage in a tense exchange with Chloe Lane and Nicole Walker separately. Nicole should be sad that Chloe chose to accept Xander's proposal, but Chloe might perceive Nicole as being hypocritical given that she also recently accepted EJ's proposal. Chloe won't think it's appropriate for Nicole to criticize someone else's love decisions because EJ has engaged in nearly as many heinous acts as Xander throughout the years. On Tuesday's episode of Days, Sarah Horton will reflect on her mixed emotions because she loves Xander and remembers his softer side, but also wants to protect her unborn child. As the due date for Sarah's child approaches, her broken heart will worsen. Days teasers indicate that Sloane Peterson, who recently lost Eric's baby, will also be very preoccupied. Due to Sloane's manipulation, Eric is unaware that he is still expecting a child with Nicole. Sloane will undoubtedly experience another wave of guilt as a result of the baby's death, and as a result, she will almost certainly tell Eric all of her paternity tricks. If you want to get more of these kind of news and love to get informed faster than usually, then subscribe our YouTube channel and stay beside and enjoy every sip of our videos and do things easily with these things. Do not hesitate and do not make late to make done the subscribe, and do not miss to enjoy every second. Despite don't miss any update from our channel, and do subscribe and never forget to press the bell icon to never get missed from any of our updates. Thanks for watching if you like this video. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any updates.